very, very important.
No,
It is
that's
not
not it.
enough.
That's not what I want.
Bad basketball. The refs killed the game, and I will be the first
this is
to
awful
admit.
too.
Texans who will forever regret passing on Johnny
Is that serious
Manziel.
right now?
Oh, Golden Boy's coming back.
And he wants to come back.
Dancing with the Stars.
And
Dancing with the
he
Stars.
called out Conor McGregor.
Oh, shit.
No, that's
God,
true.
no.
Yes.
Hey,
It's a true
motherfucker.
story.
This I can get into.
And we are back with Scout Team Sports. I am Loudbeard, and I'm here with my good friends at the Fineo Clothing Studios. To my right, I've got
Chris America. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
We're all right. You all right over there?
Yeah.
All right. You got your new coach yet?
Not yet. We're working on a deal, I think.
We'll talk about it later.
We're wheeling and dealing. Who are you?
I'm Max Scout Team.
Max
the man
Scout
with the motherfucking golden mic.
I like it.
Hey,
I
do you,
like it.
Speaking of Mother Golden Mike, do you think it was really hard for Samuel L. Jackson to not curse in the Star Wars movies?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Like, I think,
yes.
is that the only movie where he doesn't say Mother Effer?
Did
I don't know. He's been in so many movies.
I feel like he said Mother Effer in at least
I
every
wanna say
single
that he
one.
did.
But he didn't
I
say
mean,
it in
he's been
Star
in like
Wars.
700 movies.
I got to go back and watch Star
There's
Wars.
got to be
now.
at least 3 or 4 of them other than Star Wars.
Motherfucker.
The cool thing about
Damn, that was good.
The cool thing about him
That
is
was good.
he says he takes any role because he knows what it's like to be poor, so he can't turn down a role. So
Yeah,
maybe we should
absolutely.
just offer him like $20 to come on Scout Team Radio.
I don't think he'll do it for 20.
Hey, man, he
25.
doesn't turn down a role.
He doesn't turn down a role.
This is going to be the role of his life. We
Yeah.
could be the breakout opportunity Samuel L. Jackson needed.
We might be the first one he turns down. I'm just saying.
You know, early in his career, he's credited as Sam Jackson. And it's funny just seeing that. You're like, oh, you were in this 1988 movie as Sam Jackson, and you're like the mailroom guy. And then all of a sudden, like, as soon as Pulp Fiction came out, he like burst onto the scene and became
Samuel
L. Jackson.
Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson.
And then the peak of his career was Snakes on the motherfucking Plane.
Snakes on the Plane. I still haven't seen that movie yet.
Oh,
though.
You what?
So,
Is it good?
no, but it's like
Is it like Sharknado?
But it's motherfucking Samuel L. James, motherfucker.
it's
Well,
not
it's not James. It's Jackson.
Jackson.
Wow. Disrespect.
LeBron Samuel L. James Jackson. Snakes on a Plane is kind of like, I wouldn't give it that Sharknado feel. It's not
No,
that
it was better than
cheesy.
Sharknado.
It was better than that, but it was kind of like Deep Blue Sea with like LL Cool J.
Oh, okay.
It's you know where it's good but cheesy
bad.
and bad and
I'm
some
getting
plots.
tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. This is R-rated episode, by the way.
Brought to you by our rated episode.
Brought to you by Samuel L. Jackson.
That's right.
It's good motherfucking beer,
Eat that
motherfucker.
cheeseburger.
So if you want to complain about Scout Team Sports, you can do it in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
You can go to our website,
ScoutTeamRadio.com.
scoutteamradio.com. You motherfuckers can go to Twitter. Check us out at Scout Team Radio, at Scout Team Sports.
At Scout Team SPRTS.
Yeah, that's how you spell it. Without an O.
Without an O.
Because we are motherfucking Scout Team Sports without an O.
That's right. And then you can get me at Chris Scout Team.
At Mac Scout Team.
At motherfucking Mac Scout
Motherfucking
Team.
Mac with the motherfucking golden Mac.
I don't know how this
Twitter's
started.
like, this is too many characters for a name.
Your name is invalid.
That Mac just stares at Twitter and says, "You motherfucker, you're going to make that enough characters."
We got 280 now.
Yeah.
I know, I like it.
Oh, dude.
I don't think
just got
we've
an idea.
utilized it to its fullest yet.
It's going to get now. Motherfucker. This
Oh, boy. Hashtag that shit. That is
Motherfucker.
Oprah solid, that
Oprah solid.
motherfucker.
Right.
All right, so where you can find all of this greatness is you can find us on iTunes, on Podbean, at ScoutTeamRadio.com. We are also on the 12-ounce Sports Radio Network, on the TuneIn app, 12OzSportsRadio.com. And now, because of Kyle's greatness, we're on YouTube.
He is great.
Yeah, we're YouTube famous.
So-
That's right.
So if you're listening on YouTube, subscribe and like this video.
And comment. In comment, leave us.
Yeah,
comments.
leave us a comment.
Leave us
Yeah, tell us
comments,
how
leave us
awesome we are,
Yeah,
and then
straight.
complain about the mother effing language.
Yeah.
I cut it back. You see that?
Yeah,
we're
let's
gonna have to
cut-
bring
Yes.
it back.
Scale.
Hey,
We used up our number of F words for one episode.
One more time, motherfucker.
motherfucker.
All right, we're done. We're done.
Now we've overdrafted. Now we're gonna get an $80 penalty.
From
Well, it's like the NBA luxury tax.
Yeah,
we don't
yeah, we
care.
don't
We're
care.
like the Cavs. We'll pay for anybody.
I don't know
even
about-
if they're over the hill.
But this is going into our
about
Samuel
that
L. Jackson fund
Oh,
to have him on the show.
there you go. Yeah, we suck.
So should we talk sports?
sports? It is. Let's do some
Or
sports
are we just going to
talk.
talk
like
more about
Samuel
Samuel L.
Jackson.
Jackson?
I like
Those
it.
are
Hey,
sports.
we're doing a special podcast tonight about Samuel L. Jackson.
You know
Thank
what?
you
We'll
for
incorporate
tuning
him.
in.
And
People
all the
do say
sports.
we are the Samuel L. Jackson of sports podcasts.
Motherfucker.
Yes, yes, we are.
So speaking of motherfuckers, Rick Pitino has a blog?
He has a
Whoa.
blog, dude. Did you hear about this? man?
No. I mean, he's got a lot of time on his hands now. Might as well start blogging.
So I guess Louisville's been giving him a hard time. I mean, he's still in the works. He won't go away. He's just getting ready to start his own blog and start blogging about college basketball.
Are blogs still a thing?
I think they're still a thing, but not by much. It's like, I don't know, saying that. I don't know. It's hard to equate it to anything. I don't think people read blogs, but
No, I
people
think- I
write
feel
them. It's
like-
like a journal. Like,
I feel like podcasts are the new blogs.
yeah, because
They
you can
are.
give your word out, and people can hear what you're thinking without you having to write it.
And you don't have to worry about punctuations when you're talking.
No, just keep going and going and going. But Rick Pitino's going to get last. He's going to get some followers, some listeners, some.
Well, yeah, I
readers.
mean, he's Rick Pitino.
Yeah, I want to know what he has to say. You know what I'm saying?
Do you?
Yeah, he wasn't I mean, take it for what it is. He wasn't a bad coach. You know what I'm saying? We all fall short. I want to hear what he has to say.
Well, the hookers and coke that he did really
And
gets them up.
I like
That'll be good.
the art of making a shoe deal. That would be a good blog to read of his.
Yeah, how to get Adidas to pay your guys.
Yeah,
so
how
that
to
you can
get
have the best
Adidas
team.
to pay you,
Yep. Hey,
to pay your school to pay you.
I feel like this is a good blog. I'm actually now intrigued.
Now you're interested in it.
telling
Yeah.
you,
I'm ready to listen
gonna
in,
be
though.
something good.
Yeah.
Yeah, who cares?
How to grease your hair back. That could be another blog
He
tip.
was greasy.
He was a greasy looking.
he did.
Still is.
He fit the
man.
part, man. He fit
He's
the part of that
old,
slimy,
like
skeezy,
an old time gangster or something. Yeah.
No. What I definitely think of him as like a New Jersey used car salesman.
Oh, that's just bad, dude. To all the car salesmen in New Jersey, he's at Chris Scout.
At
Team.
Chris Scout Team. You can talk to my agent, Samuel L. Jackson.
Motherfucker.
So Samuel L. Jackson, you know what his favorite basketball team is?
The Florida Gators.
The
Florida Gators.
Florida
I don't think that's true.
Gators.
Oh, I mean, why wouldn't he? We wanted the number 7 team in the country, one of the best top basketball programs in the last 20 years. What's not to like?
It's
you said
almost
last 20 years?
Last 20 years, man, since 1996. That's when we got in the Godfather, Billy the Kid, Billy Donovan, took us from a football school and transformed us into a basketball school.
and then he snubbed the Orlando Magic.
Oh, he did. Yeah,
Now
that's right.
he is
That was
a
dirty.
motherfucker.
That's what I remember for him. And
He
you know what?
is.
He looks kind of greasy too.
No, man, that was a smart deal by him though, because he would have ended up getting fired by Dwight,
Yeah, it was
just
a
like our
smart
boy
move.
Stan did.
It was
That's
a smart
true.
move by him, but
He
still.
knew it was up. That's probably why he stayed. He said it's because he loved Gainesville so much, but I think he met Dwight and was like, I'm not sure about this
I
guy.
love Gainesville. He was a coach for like what 3 days or something.
No, are you talking about Orlando?
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
was
He
like
met
every day.
Dwight.
Yeah, they're
And
like, oh
he's
yeah, I'm a
Yeah, this
new
guy's gonna
coach.
run me out of town in 5 years.
dude.
I'm going back to
I
Gainesville.
don't think it was that, but hey,
He's like, hey, hun, where's the whiteout? I need to white out this signature on this contract.
he still ended up going pro though.
Yeah, he's at OKC.
Yeah.
Which I don't get. Like, I don't get why college coaches make the jump to the NBA because you don't get credit as an NBA coach.
No, you don't.
The only coach that's getting credit right now is what's his name, Popovich.
Yeah.
But everybody, even Steve Kerr, like some people give Kerr credit, but everybody knows it's really KD, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, they're so expendable.
Like if OKC
Yeah.
wins the championship this year, nobody's gonna say, oh, it's because of Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
Whereas if Billy Donovan won the national championship again, they'd be like, oh, look, here's Billy Donovan. This is Billy Donovan's championship.
I agree with you.
No, I totally agree. I mean, there's a couple coaches out there that are like worth it. When you think of like Tom Thibodeau, you think of Greg Popovich, Steve Kerr. But after you get the list of maybe like 5 coaches, everybody else could
It's
be
just your
fired this year.
superstars. Like, you couldn't name the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, can you?
Hell no.
You just know the Greek Freak, and that's it.
Yeah.
You should be
Is
honest,
it?
I
Wait,
don't
is
know
it the
either.
guy from
Dunleavy?
Chicago? Was it the guy from Chicago? Thibodeau?
No, he's up in Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. See, I get those two teams mixed up all the time. Interchangeable between
Minnesota,
and
Milwaukee. It's cold
They're
up
cold
there.
up there.
Nobody
They're next to-
cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Sorry
done.
to our friends at
BSR
BSR, man.
I was talking
Guys
mad
from
trash
Milwaukee.
tonight. It happens.
So, anything else college football? I keep going football, man. It's football season. Anything college basketball? I mean,
Florida scored 116 points against Gardner Webb. That's big time news.
The Duke MSU game was pretty good. I
Yeah,
I
it was
watched the second
88-81.
half. Yeah, they had a decent second half. Duke, I mean, they put up a fight. It was more interesting than I thought it would.
The
be.
you know
ACC
why though?
why?
Because Grayson Allen
Allen,
is carrying
yeah.
that team. I really like him. He's a good role model. I
Yeah,
think for my
he's somebody
children.
you want your kids to look up
Yeah,
to.
he really respects the referees.
He's passionate.
He respects other players.
You know what? The other day, Landon was playing a sport and he lost, and he, said "good game" to the other guy. I'm like, no, you throw a chair and you stomp your feet right now. You be a poor sport,
And then you get on the ground and you try to trip him.
and then you try to trip him. That's how you.
passionate.
Yeah, that's how you play.
happens.
I mean, Grayson Allen taught me everything I need to know about college basketball, and that's all I got to say about that.
But I will say that I think college football needs to adopt what college basketball does. They do these like ACC versus Big Ten at the beginning of the season challenges. I think they need to do that in college football. Stop all these UAB and I think Georgia plays Delaware State, or is that Florida State that
Southern,
plays Delaware
FAMU,
State? Like,
yeah.
No. Do like ACC versus SEC challenge. You pick 4 teams from each conference to play each other. It'd be awesome.
It would be awesome, but these teams are afraid of playing too many good teams because one loss for a top 10 team could be very detrimental to their playoff hopes. They want to have just a strong enough schedule so they can win out, but not too strong, so they don't want too many wild card games.
Unless
so they
you're-
like those cupcakes.
Unless you're Oklahoma and Clemson, then you get a pass.
But do you want the season extended, or is that what you're saying?
No. Just instead of playing UABs and Delaware States and
Those guys need a shot too, right?
I not really.
See, I thought this year was a little bit better, though. Week 1, we got Alabama, Florida State, and that was before we realized Florida State was
Terrible, trash, garbage. Which adjective are we going with here?
all of the above.
Okay.
So before we realized...
A wet bag of vomit. That's what. That's what Sean Tailgater says.
So...
But we're the same as Florida.
Yep, that's a bad place to be.
that is
It
a
is
bad place to be.
Especially with all those top 5 recruiting classes. That's
Oh,
a bad
man.
place to be.
You know what? The one regret I have in life is that before the season started and we were going on about how Florida and Florida State and you guys were doing your predictions, that I didn't talk more trash about how bad they were going to be and how awesome UCF was going to be. You guys would have looked at me like I was crazy because at that point I was going all in on McGregor. If I would have gone all in on UCF,
yeah.
you guys would have been like, this guy's a nut. And
No.
I thought about putting them in my top 5 instead of Louisville, and then I was like, "Nah, that's stupid. I'm a homer. I can't do that. I need to let me go with another wild card." And I went with Louisville. UCF's 10 times better than Louisville. I don't even know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
but anyway,
What?
No, UCF would run Louisville out of the stadium.
You got serious?
Yes. Have you
What?
seen Louisville? Louisville's trash.
Yeah,
I get that.
Louisville has no defense, and their offense is predicated on one guy. And if a good team comes in and they know how to game plan against that one guy, they can't do anything.
You just put Griffin on spy and Lamar Jackson, it's over.
Yeah, it's done. I'm telling you.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's go with it. Let's roll.
Well, who do you think would win?
Anthony's an elitist. He's
I'm not
that guy
an
that's like,
elitist.
oh, you play in a small time conference
Oh,
like the American. Fee fee foo. Just because I'm a Power 5 conference team, you're better than UCF.
I'm not.
Man,
I'm
UCF
not-
has proven it.
I'm not even saying that. You guys can probably take some Power 5 conferences down, but
No, UCF,
Like the ACC.
UCF is better than 80% of Power 5 conference teams. They are. There's no denying that.
hopefully you guys get in the top 10 and you play a top 10 team. I would like to see you play a top 10 team. Like Wisconsin, Michigan, somebody like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're going to get in a New Year's Bowl game if we win out.
Maybe even Penn State. I would love to see you guys play Penn State or Ohio
That'd be a fun
State.
game.
It would be.
That will be a fun game. I'll watch that game, and I'll root for UCF.
You know what would be fun, though? Like one of these high-powered offenses against UCF's offense, like having one of those like 70-point shootouts.
Those aren't
so, like,
exciting to me. Though.
I like
We've
them,
already
man.
been over there.
So like a TCU.
Yeah.
Like that would be
That'd
a good
be a fun game.
No,
That would be a
because-
lot of fun.
Because I think you beat TCU, but I want to
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I mean, you say that. So, again, TCU is a top 15 team.
TCU
They're
has
one of the top
proven
teams in
time
the
and
Big
time
12.
Again, that they shouldn't be there, though. They shouldn't be.
You
in
could
the
say that
top.
about any team. You really can. You really
I
can
mean,
say that about any
Alabama
team.
was on the brink of losing this past week.
You guys don't want Alabama.
Georgia, what did they
You
do?
guys don't want Georgia.
Why wouldn't they want Georgia?
Notre Dame, the Hunchbacks.
Yeah.
How did they play?
I'll give you Notre Dame, but you guys don't want Georgia or Alabama.
So this past week, Virginia Tech was ranked ahead of UCF. How did that work out? Virginia Tech's garbage. Michigan State jumped up like 10 spots, jumped ahead
Just
of
to get
UCF
blown out,
to get
49-3.
blown out.
I want to see.
like what the hell,
I want to
man?
see you play Penn State. I want to see you play Ohio State. I want to see you play one of those top teams.
All I got to say is bring it.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to see you play Alabama.
You know what? Penn State can't see me.
I don't want to see you play Alabama. I want to see you play Penn State,
No, I don't-
Ohio State.
Alabama, again, I've said this before, but to me, they're the best team.
They're just big.
No, why would you say that?
They just-
They're the best team.
How?
They're
But
well
based on
coached.
what?
They're well coached and they're big as hell.
Okay.
Mississippi State looked the same size of them, but if you look a little bit closer, those guys were like grown men playing with Pop Warner kids, man. Seriously, those guys are huge. I don't know what's in the water down there, but they're just a big team.
What's called amazing recruiting. And Nick Saban.
And
Jalen Hurt himself is big. I mean, a
the
quarterback-
referees, as I got a conspiracy theory.
Oh, here we go.
This is a low budget show
It
here.
is, it
Little
is, it
unsolved
is.
mysteries. Did you see the game?
We paid $5.
Did you
for
see
that.
the game?
I've seen the game.
You saw the wide receiver run out of bounds, come back in, catch the ball. Referee throws his hat on the ground. No flag. No mention by Alabama alum Greg McElroy about it. Nothing. We'll just let him score.
Let's skirt over it.
That's that Alabama effect.
That was one play.
Hey, you know
Conspiracy
what?
theory.
Whatever
It was the
works.
one play that worked. It was the one play that won them the game.
I'm not going to argue with you because
They're still the best team. I don't care about that one play. They're still
It
the best
wasn't that the
team.
ref missed it. The ref caught it because he threw his hat on the ground.
Maybe he
And
was
then
just
they're
sweating
like,
profusely.
Let's just forget about it.
I don't know. I'm not going to disagree with you, but it's Alabama.
Yeah.
They're still a good team.
Now, if they play like that against Auburn in 2 weeks, Auburn's going to win.
Auburn looked really good.
Auburn looked really good.
But at the same time, was it just like
Was it the opponent? Or
trying-
was it...
like Ohio State played really good against Penn State, and then came out and I'm wondering if that's kind of same performance. It's like, are they really that good?
what team are you going to get?
Yeah, exactly. What team are you going to get? Are you going to get that team that showed up against Georgia, or are you going to get the Auburn that's been the other 7 games of the season? You know what I'm saying? It's hard. They look good. Should it be a good game? Absolutely, but I'm not counting on Auburn to beat Alabama this year.
I'm looking forward to it, though, because I feel like as the season dwindles down, you've got these top 10 teams, and a lot of them are playing each other either the last week of the year in the championship games or in the Iron Bowl. So you got a team like Auburn that is coming out really hot off of their last game, and they're looking forward to this Alabama game. You got Alabama, who's still undefeated. Somebody's going down. And who's it going to be? That's going to be exciting. You got a ton of football to play. So right now, every week we do this where we're like, oh, this guy's the best, but it's all going to shake out, and it's going to be kind of a crazy shakeout when it all happens. And that's the best part about college football is you never know who's going to be at the top other than Alabama.
The thing is like I've said
Other than
before,
Alabama.
I think the committee has proven themselves to be so inconsistent with their logic and reasoning as to how they rank these teams. It's like for the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks, however long it's been, Georgia's been the number one team. They said the reason why they were number one is because they had that 1 point win against Notre Dame. Now look at Miami throttles Notre Dame, and they're ranked behind a 1-loss Clemson. They're at number 3. Like, where's the logic in that?
I think
There is none.
I think it goes back to I honestly think they're actually watching the games. They're actually analyzing the teams. They're not just going off of numbers.
So Miami's biggest mistake was actually beating Syracuse
No,
instead of losing to them like Clemson
Miami's
did?
biggest mistake was their first 5 games.
When they were
just-
hanging in with a trash team like Florida State.
Yeah.
It's true. It's absolutely fucking true.
But so was Clemson until late.
Shit,
Yeah, true.
Go ahead and throw it out there. Shit, Miami, they beat us in the last minute of the game. You know what I'm saying?
But also
At least
teams
Clemson
peak.
beat us in the last 5 minutes of the game. But
Miami
still.
hasn't lost, but maybe they're peaking at the right time.
But look, this is
And
why
goddamn it,
it's
they
so
are.
it's so stupid that this is a beauty contest. Oh, you got to blow out teams. Like, no, Georgia was blowing out a bunch of nobodies, a bunch of trash. And then look at what happened to them when they finally played a real team. They got their asses kicked.
So I'm gonna plug Last Chance U again. Did you guys ever watch that Last Chance U?
no,
I
I
haven't
still haven't
watched
watched
about,
it, man.
About the little.
I'm still trying to catch up on The Walking Dead.
Okay, gotcha. So
I'm
the
still
Ju-
working on Stranger Things season 2.
So yeah, the JUCO college in Last Chance U, the coach he had a solid philosophy about being ranked.
Is that a philosophy?
Philosophy? He said, beat the shit out of people, beat the shit out of them whenever you can, run the score up on them, and he's ranked. I mean, even after losing a game, I remember they lost a game early in the season. I guess this last season, and he was like, "We're gonna go out and beat the shit out of everybody else, where they don't have any choice but to put us number 1," and that's what he did. That I'm sorry, it's college sports. That's what you have to do. You want to be at the best, you go beat the shit out of people. Period. Sorry.
I mean,
think-
that's a pretty good way to look at life.
I think it's just we've developed this SEC elitist mentality now.
Ooh,
And
really?
yeah,
You're in the SEC, bro.
I am an SEC, but me watching in the SEC and being an observer of the SEC, I can willingly admit the SEC is down this year, big time. Big time is down. Like I've
they're
said,
not dead, but yeah, they're
there's
down.
they're going to fire 5 coaches.
Who?
5 coaches are going to be replaced at the end of the season.
You still on Sumlin and getting fired?
It's not
No,
me on Sumlin. It's just
Two
what's
of-
going to happen.
2 of them have already happened.
The AD, well, 3 actually, because Ole Miss's coach went out at this summer. They're not going to retain that interim guy.
Okay.
They're probably going to get rid of him and go hire a real coach. So that's 3. And then you got Sumlin's 4. And then Arkansas just fired their AD. So Bielema is probably right behind him. And that makes 5. That's a lot of coaches to lose. That's a lot of turnover.
coaches.
And if you're firing coaches, it's because your teams are bad. So if you have 5 teams that are bad, and then I still not even mentioned Vanderbilt's and South Carolina's and those other teams
But-
like
yeah,
that
but
Missouri,
South Carolina has a good
like
coach.
Missouri. Yeah, no, they don't.
They have a pretty good coach.
No, he's terrible.
No, he's pretty good. He's consistent.
Okay, consistently at losing. He's
I
going to
mean-
do well this year because the SEC East is down, just like he did in 2012 when he went 11-2, and he followed it up with a 4-8 season. Be ready for that hangover with Muschamp, especially if Tennessee and Florida go get big name guys like Chip Kelly and John Gruden, who are the rumored guys.
I heard
Right
John
now.
Gruden's also rumored to go back to the Tampa Bay Bucks.
That would be a
That's
poor decision
horrible.
by them.
Good God.
No,
that's
I've heard
bad.
that. This is seriously
That
a
is so
rumor.
bad.
Because the Bucks have been so bad. They're like, oh, what's going to be the contingency?
Don't get the worst coach they've ever had, though.
It's the time of year we call these groomers.
Groomers.
Yeah, the Gruden rumors. Because for 5 years, these groomers,
You're right.
he's
going somewhere.
He's going somewhere.
Yeah.
And you know where he sits? In this air-conditioned booth. And he sits there and he just talks to young quarterbacks and he talks about what he thinks is going to be a split Y banana, and
That's
everything
right.
works out.
What probably happens is those guys say, you know what, we should go interview Gruden and get him in the interview room and be like, why is this guy still coaching?
Hey, I've got
Why
a good
is this guy
replacement
still
for
on TV?
Gruden. The scout team.
The scout
Yeah,
team.
we're better than
Dude,
Gruden any
we'd
damn
tear
day.
that shit up.
Hell yeah.
Those motherfuckers.
We would be kicked off of Monday Night Football within the first minute for cursing too much.
And we'd be going out.
We would rack up like $1 million in FCC
Fuck
fines.
you, Tony Romo, you motherfucker.
Wait a second. I kind of like Tony Romo now that he's
I
not
do
on
like
the
Tony Romo.
Cowboys.
Yeah, he's pretty
like cool. Like I get a drink. I'd get a beer with
So-
Tony Romo. I'd buy him a beer, and then I'd ask him to pick up the rest
Now-
of the tab.
I don't know if I believe John Gruden's going to go to Tennessee, but it would be kind of cool to see
No way.
Chip Kelly versus John Gruden every year for the SEC East. That would be awesome.
It'd be entertaining. It would be
way.
entertaining.
Oh, what?
I am
It would be
surprised.
better than watching Butch Jones versus Coach McElwain or Coach Muschamp. Like, boring.
Coach McElwain gets a job by the end
So-
of the season. You think?
Maybe at some small school.
Now going back to Gruden,
Either that or he can be a shark fisherman.
he's good at that.
That was a dolphin.
He likes to lay his trout. So Gruden, being a coach that was that young, that never, yeah, we are all over the place. That was that young, that never got back into coaching, to me was surprising. Usually these guys like Lou Holtz, nobody wanted him, and he's so crazy. He was perfect on the mic. Lee Corso, like these older guys that go into.
No, Lee Corso came in young. I
Did
mean,
he-
you got to think in '95 he came in. That was 20 years ago. So I mean, I guess he was 50. That's young in coaching age.
But it's
Yeah,
for
good
good reason. I
point.
guarantee you, they probably interview him and be like, "Why is this guy still a heralded coach? He's not that great. John Gruden just isn't that great."
He's not
Here-
that good of a coach. And that's why I know. That's
not.
another reason why I hope Tennessee hires him because
5 more.
It'll be
years.
fun to see
5
more
more
years.
years.
I get where you're going with this, but to have that Super Bowl on your resume means something. It means something.
That has 5 asterisks by it. That's
it
not
means
the Super
it
Bowl.
doesn't matter.
It means you rode the train.
You got on the caboose of that train.
So-
You're not even driving it.
Peyton Manning, his last season, wins the Super Bowl. He retires. His asterisk is he was a noodle arm, but they had a great defense.
Right, he rode the train.
Yeah,
He rode the train. He still won a Super Bowl. It's still a big deal.
I
John
guess.
Gruden.
Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl before
Hey,
that.
But-
Tom
but you-
Coughlin
but-
won it with Eli.
but hold
Eli
on.
Manning's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but he's still
Twice.
garbage.
So listen,
he's garbage.
This year?
Listen though, but here's the perfect example. You gave Peyton Manning as an example, and then what happened the next season? Peyton Manning had to retire because nobody wanted him to be their quarterback. He can sit there and say until he's blue in the face, "Last time I played, I won a Super Bowl," and people are going to say, "Yeah, but we don't want you as our quarterback."
Exactly.
Just like John Gruden could say, "Yeah, I won a Super Bowl," and he rode that excuse and drove Tampa
years.
into the ground for like 8
years.
years.
I guess I'm going to have to jump onto this train a little bit. There's a guy like Colin Kaepernick who went to a Super Bowl, and everybody says, oh, you could have a quarterback that took a team to the Super Bowl, but you'd rather have Matt McGloin
That's
as
fair.
your backup quarterback, or Mike Glennon, or these guys that really haven't ever done anything.
But we go off of merit too, and Colin Kaepernick is better than those guys you named all day long. He is. Mike Glennon.
Yeah, but Mike Glennon got paid, and he was playing for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom Savage.
Fuck.
Hey,
He's back in the driver's
I was
seat.
going to throw Case Keenum in this conversation, but that dude looks good. So,
Casey Keenum looks good.
yeah, man, he looks
He's
good.
good for like 6 a season though, isn't he?
Uh,
Yeah, he give him a couple of games and like, oh man, he's scoring points, and then all of a sudden you're like, shit, what happened to that guy?
all right, so we were talking college
We
football.
were just
Hold on.
all over the place.
Do we-
I got some breaking news.
Let's hear
I'm
it.
looking at some tweets here.
Oh God,
Chip
no.
Kelly's agent has been spotted at the Gainesville airport getting off of a Florida Gator plane. I'm liking it, man. I'm telling you, I've been waiting. I said on Twitter today, if Florida announces that he's the coach before we record, I'd wear a romper the next time we go out.
So I think what he's going to do, he's going
I'm
to
excited, man.
get off the Gators plane, go down, sit in the conference room with all the Florida Gator brass, all the big-time boosters. They're all getting in this meeting, and Chip Kelly's going to pull a Chip Kelly, jump up on the table, rip off his shirt and have a Tennessee Volunteer shirt underneath it and say, motherfuckers, I'm going to Tennessee. That would be perfect.
Look, he's not even laughing. He's like, that shit isn't funny. That shit isn't funny. That shit isn't
I'm
funny.
calling it. Called it here first on Scout Team Sports.
Hey,
So if that doesn't happen, do you wear a romper?
I wear a romper anyway.
Yeah, he would. You know what? The good thing about us recording and it being out there on the internet, Skynet's listening to us, it's always there. That way, in 3 years, when Chip Kelly starts to bomb, Chris can't say, "Yeah, he wasn't the one anyway." Because I'm seriously.
No, I'll say I
believing-
would. If he comes in and he bombs, I will be completely shocked. I won't, and admit I'll come on here and I'll say I was wrong about Chip Kelly, but there's no reason for me to believe that that's going to happen.
I mean, it
Chip
happened-
Kelly is
it
a
happened
great
in the
coach.
NFL.
Okay, but that's the NFL. You see this time in and time out. If you're, we're going to discredit Nick Saban because he was terrible at Miami.
He was horrible at Miami.
Guess what? Some guys
Yeah,
are
but it was
college coaches.
2 years. You got to give guys time.
Some guys are college coaches, man. That's it.
How
And
much
there's
time
no
are you gonna
shame in
give
that.
this guy? How much time are you going to give Chip Kelly?
I'll give him 3 years like I give every other coach.
Fuck, man. Why are
Hey.
you giving these guys 3 years?
Because
bruh?
In 3 years, you can recruit 20 to 25 players each year. You're telling me you can't turn a team around and improve your team?
It takes time.
But here's
to
the
build
point.
No,
that
it doesn't.
culture.
That's
There's
75. That's 75 players.
It's
But there's
coming-
already a lot of talent on the Tennessee squad for him to be able to turn him around. Like he could take that talent and turn it around in 2 years.
Coming from a coach who looks at we all have 5-year plans. If it happens in 3,
How can you
you're
have a
lucky.
5-year plan when most of your players are going to be gone in 2 to 3 years?
It's a 5-year
You
plan.
get-
And you have to
no.
build a culture. You can't just come in.
It
and
is very
say,
rare. It is
"I'm
very
good."
rare in college football that a guy like Coach Mack, who never improves his team in 3 years, all of a sudden the light clicks and he turns. You never hear that story. Tennessee tried it with Butch Jones. They sat there and they waited and they waited and they waited, and all they did was wasted a bunch of time on a guy that everybody else knew was a terrible coach.
All coaches have 5-year plans. If a coach has a 3-year plan, it's because his AD
Well, listen.
and his boosters.
So-
You can
are
have your
pressure.
you can have your 5-year plan, but if you have zero improvement by year 3, your 5-year plan is garbage and it's not working. It's
sorry.
time
No,
to
I'm
go.
with you on the
Sorry,
5-year
in
plan,
5 years,
but
man.
mentally, you know that you better perform at least after 2 years. Like you have to
that's-
show something.
that's
In
into-
that 3rd year, you're like lame duck if you can't pull it
That's
together.
in today's climate, but
Guess where we're
Coach,
at?
you-
It's
you have-
today.
you got to have a 5-year plan. It's a business plan,
And
bro.
part of your plan should be by year 3, your team is improved drastically, and that's
You're going to get rid of
and
Chip
you
Kelly
didn't,
after 3
you
years.
I
didn't
like the
see that
Scott
in Ron
Frost
Zook.
plan.
You didn't see that in Will Muschamp, and you didn't see that in Coach Mack. If Chip Kelly comes in and it's the same, we're getting blown out by top teams. It's the same, we're ranked 100 or the bottom 100 of offense. What else am I supposed to expect? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different
So if
results.
Chip Kelly comes in year 2, you guys go 2-10. You guys are going to get rid of him in year 3?
If we go 2-10 in year 2, but all of our 10 losses are by 1 point or more, and the offense is improving each week, and you can see that the team is there, and they're about ready to turn the corner, then no, you don't fire him. But if they're 2-10 and they're getting blown out by Vanderbilt and Kentucky and Alabama and everybody else, and the offense looks lame like it has been the last 3 years, then it's a totally different story. It's not about your record. It's about your performance. Are you competing against teams? You're not getting paid $4 million to go to Jacksonville and get blown out by Georgia by the end of the first quarter. That's just not what you're getting paid to do.
All right.
And you've had 3 years to improve that, and you didn't. So bye, Felicia.
All right.
But
Hey,
that's not going to happen with Chip Kelly.
Chip is a good acquisition. If this
Anything
ends
can
up
happen.
happening, I think Chip's a great acquisition. His college football resume is top notch. He took a team like Oregon, who isn't a big time program, and made them into a big time program.
He improved them
Yeah, he
majorly.
Did. He did.
I mean,
I'll give you
they
He
that.
lost
were-
7 games
yeah.
in his entire 4 years there. I think he won the Pac-12 3 out of the 4 years. I guess it was the Pac-10 then. He went to BCS bowl games. I think he was 2-2 in those bowl games. But again, he never lost by blowouts when he was there. He would lose, I think he lost 22-18 against Auburn. That's a respectable loss. If he would have gone and did like what Jim Tressel did, which is get blown out by the Gators, get blown out by LSU, then you could say, I don't know if I want this guy. But all of his losses were respectable losses, and that's what I want out of my next coach. I'm not sitting here saying Chip Kelly's going to come in and be the new Nick Saban. But I do think Chip Kelly's going to come in. He's going to win 10 to 13 games a year. He's going to have us competing for SEC titles every year. Not winning them, but competing in them, which means, hey, we were 12-2 and we lost close to Georgia and we lost close to LSU. I'm good with that. You know what I mean?
Respect the vest, though. Respect Tressel, man. But I'll
No,
give you
Tressel's
that.
all right. I mean,
He was
as long
good.
as he's not allowing kids to get tattoos for golden pants, we're good.
I'll give you that. We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting time in Florida. That's all. It's going to be nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna love it, man. I'm excited.
So do you think now that if Chip Kelly goes to Florida, do you think now that Scott Frost stays, or do you think he's number one on the Nebraska
Scott
list?
Frost should
He's
stay
already
no
on the
matter
Nebraska
what.
list, man.
Scott Frost shouldn't go anywhere. He should stay where he is.
I think I've already said before, if he doesn't go to Florida, I want him to stay at UCF.
I hope he does too.
But UCF, I said it before too, UCF needs to extend his contract. They need to say, hey, here's $6 million a year.
After watching the guy and watching his press conferences, like his he had the baby born, and he's all jubilant about that. I actually like his personality. He needs to stay at UCF though. Don't go anywhere else, Scott Frost. Stay at UCF. I think he needs to hone his skills. I'm just saying, you still got some important games that you guys have to win. You still got USF coming up, and you guys going to be bowl eligible.
Next
You guys
week's
gotta
not
win a
bad
bowl.
either. Temple. We're going to Temple.
Yeah, Temple's a hard
Temple's-
place to
yeah.
win. Temple's
They're-
a respectable team.
They're a tough team. I mean, they're not a big program by any means.
They're not as good as they were last year, but
They're still a
pretty
respectable
decent.
You guys
team.
should beat Temple. Your game is going to be the War on I-4, and then your bowl game. You guys
Well,
win
no,
those.
they got the AAC championship against Memphis again.
Oh, that's
probably.
right.
Yeah,
Oh,
more
it's
than
tough.
likely. So if you
It's
go
tough to beat a team
Temple,
twice.
USF, Memphis, that's pretty big gauntlet to go through.
Yeah.
And if you win all three of those, they have to be ranked. Hopefully, move up to like 8 or 10.
I want to see you in the top 10, like I said. And I want to
That's
see you
3
play Penn
games.
State.
If you win all 3, go undefeated,
And
all
you blow them out.
and you blow them out.
'Cause-
Yeah, well, that's that style points. It's
Yeah.
a beauty pageant.
Yeah, you gotta beat
And
'em.
every game, you feel like you have to win by 50, 60
Beat 'em
points.
down.
Otherwise, it doesn't count.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't just say a win's a win. It's not. You have to win like you're going out of style, like 70 points, like
Got
the
it.
UCF Knights like to do.
Absolutely.
That's what you got to do.
So let's switch gears, but you got something?
No, I'm with you on switching gears because I
Let's-
feel like we've college footballed
Balled
it
it
out.
out.
So usually I
Let's switch
listen to the
gears.
college tailgaters to
Yeah.
get all my college
Yeah,
football
we're
talk,
good.
but today it's like, you know what? Forget those guys. They don't even know
Man,
what
I'm
they're talking
excited
about
about
anyway.
Chip Kelly.
Hey,
So let's stay
yes,
in
he
Orlando, though. We're talking about UCF in Orlando. Let's stay in Orlando. Magic kind of hit a couple of road bumps, but we've been facing some injuries. We're 8-6 now. Last week we recorded. We were 7-4. We did beat the Knicks like we said we would. But we've kind of had a couple of hiccups here.
Well-
we went 1-2 since last week.
One hiccup was going up against the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, that's always a.
And Steph Curry didn't play. It doesn't matter.
I
KD
think we
runs
covered
that show.
I think we covered the spread.
Yeah, we did.
Good teams win, great teams cover. Sean Tailgater said that last week.
Yeah, we did.
Huh,
It was only a
interesting.
10-point loss against the great Golden State Warriors for a Magic team that would get blown out by 30 points and all the starters would sit like the second half of the game. That is a victory just to stay in and be competitive against the Golden State Warriors. Tonight, playing the Portland Trailblazers. Great matchup. Portland's got a really quality squad out there. Damian Lillard's one of my favorite players in the NBA. He's like a lot of fun. He's one of those big-time, makes shots at the buzzer, carries his team on his shoulders. And they've got a couple other guys out there. CJ McCollum's a pretty good dude. And so great game matchup tonight against Portland, but we also got Nick Vooch. We've got Gator legend Mo Buckets.
Mo Buckets.
We've got Jonathan Simmons, who he's looking like an early 6th Man of the Year award-winning type guy. And our point guard play has been a lot better. We've got Elfrid Payton. Evan Fournier's gotten some scoring. So Orlando Magic, I'm not counting you out yet just because we get a loss here and there. We're still above 500 for a team that was probably projected to get 30 wins on the year to already be 8-6. I think this is a fantastic way to start it out.
So a team that's not above 500 is the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're 7-7.
Coming for the Kings still, huh?
You know what they need? They need Isaiah Thomas to hurry up and get back.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
he
they
could
do.
be somebody that like motivates the team and they can rally around him. It seems like everybody else is a little bit. When you're on the same team with the same players, LeBron can't motivate J.R. Smith any more than he already has. J.R. kind of likes to take the regular season off sometimes. And you got guys like that. You've got some of these new pieces that got fit in that aren't really quite meshing. Jay Crowder's trying to find his way on that team, and you're just not seeing that performance. I kind of think Oklahoma City's doing this exact same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was huge on OKC. I was like, man, they're going to be the ones that take out Golden State this year, them or Houston. That was what I was thinking. I'm saying it now. That's what I thought. And it just, Paul George would have a big game, and then Russell have a big game, and then maybe Carmelo will have a big game, but they can't do it together.
Right.
So I haven't seen that out of them yet. They're not playing that great.
OKC's not the team to bring out to take out Golden State.
Hey, according to you, it doesn't even matter. We
though,
shouldn't
the
even
season-
play the
the season's not
season.
even happening.
Golden
No.
State's already
Golden
anointed the NBA
They should
champion.
just play
Golden
2K18
State-
and try to decide it on there.
I think the
Screw
Spurs
them.
and the Rockets give them a run for the money, but OKC's just I've never been a Carmelo Anthony fan. Never.
See, I think the Spurs aren't going to be as competitive in the playoffs this year. I just don't think they quite have it. I think they're a little bit of it's going to be an off year for them.
Right.
I mean, they're always a quality squad. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're never going to. I mean, I say never. I think Pop has missed the playoffs once in 20 years, so they're going to be in the dance. But I don't know that this is their year. I mean, I love Houston. I think Houston does a lot of great stuff, but I don't know if they play enough defense to be competitive in 7-game series against these tough teams.
They scored They put up
Oh
some
yeah,
points.
they can score in bunches. They can score 130 on any team,
Exactly.
any given night. So, but OKC, I guess maybe the problem there might be just too many
Carmelo
superstars. Yeah, Carmelo doesn't play defense. Carmelo could be like a good 6-man, but I don't think he's going to take that.
He's
step
never gonna
back.
take that hit. No,
He
won't.
won't.
Let him do that.
He won't, and they're paying him too much money to come off the bench. He should be a starter, and he can score, but is he giving that effort in and night out? I don't know. So I'm.
Well, you did bring up the Cleveland Cavaliers having lots of injuries and excuses. One team that also has lots of injuries and no excuses are the Boston Celtics, who lead the NBA at 13-2 record. They've had Kyrie miss games. They've had, obviously, Gordon Hayward's out. They've had Gator legend, why can't I think of his name?
Al
Horford. For some reason, I want to say Mo Buckets again. It's like, no.
Buckets.
Mo Buckets.
I mean, they were both on those national championship winning teams of the Florida Gators, but they've had him out, and it doesn't make a difference. They're 13-2, which is crazy. And a team that really surprises me right now is the Detroit Pistons are 10-3.
Yeah, I did
they're
look at
great,
Dan
man.
Van
I was like,
Gundy,
oh,
man,
yeah.
he's got that team firing on all cylinders.
Detroit Pistons.
Hey,
baby.
Avery Bradley comes over from the Boston Celtics, which I thought would have hurt the Boston Celtics, but all
Clearly
it's
not.
doing, it's helping the Pistons, though. Bradley's a great player. They also have Reggie Jackson, who is Reggie Jackson. He's becoming that floor general that they needed. And then Andre Drummond is just a double-double machine, getting 15 to 20 rebounds in games. I mean, the guy's just an unbelievable rebounder, always has a good scoring matchup going on. So they've got quality players, and SVG,
Yeah, Stan Van Gundy, baby.
that's our guy, man. We like Stan. Stan's an old Magic
They got
guy.
that. They got that new arena now. They're playing back in Detroit. They're feeling it this year.
I always like
Yeah,
it when
they're
these
balling.
bottom dwellers end up jumping up and being relevant.
Right.
And Milwaukee Bucks, they've been bad for a lot of years. They're finally going to look like they're coming up into being a competitive team. The Charlotte Hornets, they look like they've got bit by the Dwight Howard bug. I thought they would be decent, and Dwight
No,
Howard comes in,
he's
and all he does
poison.
is, yeah, he is.
He's poison, man.
Yeah, he's
and the
pretty
Magic.
bad.
I thought back in the day, I thought the Magic made the wrong choice. They should have chosen Stan Van Gundy over Dwight Howard. I think they should have. What Stan Van Gundy has now, the position he has now at Detroit, they should have given him at Orlando Magic. They should have made him that GM / coach. And look, I think he's been there 3 or 4 years. He's got Detroit going good. I mean, he made the playoffs 2 years ago. They got swept by the Cavs. They played him close in every game. Then last year, they kind of took a step back. I think they missed the playoffs. But then look, he's got him back up 10-3. He's made those moves that you said. He traded for Avery Bradley. He's made all the right moves to get this Pistons team 10-3. And look where the Magic are compared to where Stan Van Gundy is.
That's crazy. Who would ever thought that? Like, hey, Stan Van Gundy.
I like him, though, man.
he was
He's always been a good coach. He was good in Miami. He got the
was.
Shaq treatment there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he comes to Orlando and
Gets
gets
the
the
Dwight
Dwight treatment. So wait till Andre Drummond's
Drummond,
ready.
yeah.
Yeah, he'll be done.
We'll
Big
see.
guys and Stan Van just don't get along well.
Gosh.
I think the Cavs being on the bottom makes for an interesting Eastern Conference.
No, I love
Honestly,
it.
I think it's gonna make it entertaining when Cleveland does realize, hey, we're the Cleveland Cavaliers,
And start balling.
and they start balling. It'll be entertaining to watch them fight and claw their way back, and then LeBron James fans can have all these things to clamor about, like, oh, look, we started out, 10-10 or whatever it is through the first 20 games, and now we've won like 15 straight. Look how great we are. Look how great LeBron James is.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. That's kind of skeptical. I mean, they have the potential, but can they actually pull it together?
We'll see. I mean, they've done it before. They've had these stretches.
Well,
Last
he's
year,
done it before.
like at the end of last year, they had stretches where they probably were 7-7, or they had like a losing record over 10 or 15 games, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, it's time to play the playoffs. Time to turn it on."
Yeah, we'll see. I like LeBron. I like the Cavaliers, but it's looking bad. I've actually watched a couple of their games.
Yeah.
It's not pretty.
Well, they always say like nothing really counts before Christmas, so
There you go.
we'll see.
Here you go.
All right, I think that's it for NBA.
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
move on to the NFL.
The what?
Kyle.
The real football league?
Kyle, I'm concerned about you, bud.
Ooh.
Kirk Cousins is still a top 5 quarterback, by the
Is
way.
he?
I think
injured.
he's third in passing yards.
Yeah,
So he's top 5 there.
The problem is the win column. I
Yeah.
think to be a top 5 quarterback, you have to have the wins to back it up. So
But
that's hurting
That
him.
was him last year, too, was it not?
So here's the
We were one game away from the playoffs.
here's the surprising thing about your team. Terrell Pryor's been a ghost.
I don't
Kirk
understand.
Cousins is obviously, like we said, he's third in passing yards this year, and none of the balls are finding Terrell Pryor. Is it? You watch more games than I do. What's going on with that guy?
I just don't think he's as talented as his stats last year led us to believe. In Cleveland, there was no competition. Corey Coleman was hurt, and they were just throwing the ball up to him, and he was a tall target, so he could get some of those balls. This year, there's the other younger receivers are just more talented. Josh Doxson, Jamison Crowder. These guys are just, they have more talent than Terrell Pryor, and it's just, he's not a good fit for this system. I thought Cousins was going to be throwing the ball to him. I thought he was going to be the primary target, take over for that Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson duo that we missed when that left. And I thought he was going to be the guy that filled in, and he just doesn't. And I mean, we're throwing a lot more screen passes, and the offense is running a lot differently than it was last year. But I think it's because they don't trust Pryor, and Pryor's had a few drops, which I think hurt him. And he's just not that fast. He's a big body, but he's just not that fast. I don't know. The whole thing, it's a little disappointing, the record that we're at, but definitely not giving up on the season yet. We've got a long way to go. We got 2 matchups against the Giants coming up here towards the end of the year, so that's going to help our record out, hopefully, tremendously. There we go. We're going to get the Cowboys again without Ezekiel Elliott. So that's 3 games right there that should be winnable games in their conference games. If we get those 3 games, that could turn around the season. It's just winning some of these other non-conference, non-divisional games and kind of showing up. I mean, the biggest problem hasn't been our offense. It's our defense. They were talking about on the commentary about how great the Minnesota Vikings defense has been this year. They hadn't let more than 18 points up in the last 5 games, and Washington got 30 on them, and they threw the ball all over them and had a great offensive outing. But Minnesota's Case Keenum, the giant legend known as the great Case Keenum, made Washington's defense look like the little Giants. Like, we were awful. We couldn't do anything. He threw, I think, at one point, at a 6 possessions, they had touchdown, 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 punt, touchdown. You can't do that as a defense.
I think Kyle needs to start his own Redskins podcast.
I could go for days, man.
We toss it over to him for the
Man,
Redskins, and he
was
just
just out
goes.
there.
You
He
did
takes
this
off.
to me. You did this to me. You asked.
Every single time we bring up Kirk Cousins over the summer, and it's
was
like,
there.
Top 5, baby. He's still top 5. He just,
All the title said was Vikings pillage Washington. That's it.
I mean, that's terrible as it is. Hey, where's that at? I'm crossing that. Nope, crossed out. It was at the bottom.
Yeah. I was going to give you.
And revel in their spoils. You
Oh,
wrote
that was
that?
good. Yeah, that was a good
You're
one.
like a
Show notes.
wordsmith.
That was a pretty good one.
What is? Are you a poet?
I
didn't
try to
know
be
it.
The man with the
All
golden
right,
mic.
I'm taking a minute off. I'll let you guys talk about
So,
whatever you want to talk about.
we said your Packers need to beat the Bears, and they did.
They snuck.
Wait a second.
past
One more
the
thing. No, I'm
Bears.
just kidding.
The Packers snuck past the Bears. I mean, Hundley had 200 passing yards. I think he was 18, 26, 18, 25, I think. He looked good.
Yeah.
He ain't Brett Favre. We can't play like we did. I think we lost Ty Montgomery in that game. We're just sneaking past people, man. It's the battle for the bottom at this point. You know what I'm saying? We just don't want to be in third place. You kind of want to be in second, and hopefully we get a wild card if, he can come back. Aaron Rodgers could come back, but I just don't think we're going to do it. After watching that game against the Bears, I just don't think we have it in us. I think we dropped the Nets too, and we're out. And it's sad, but it is what it is.
Who do you guys got next?
We have we have the Ravens.
The Ravens. That's gonna be a tough game. I mean, luckily it's in Green Bay.
So look, we have the Ravens, the Steelers, the Buccaneers.
So you should be able to beat the Bucks.
Should be able to beat the Bucks, but the Ravens and the Steelers are going to be tough.
And then you got the Browns.
The Browns.
And then you got my mighty Panthers.
December 17th, baby.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we go
It's
at
going to
it.
be a fun game.
Yeah, we're gonna go at it. It'd be fun. But
Any chance your boy will be back by then?
you know what though? I mean, if you don't finish the Ravens, the Steelers, and God forbid we lose to the Buccaneers, you don't bring them back. You don't bring them back. You let them sit. You just take the rest of the year off, man.
Yeah.
Relax. Come back next year.
Give him the basically the Jameis Winston treatment.
Be honest with you, if he's not back before the Browns, I don't want him to come back against the Panthers or the Vikings. Those teams have great defense.
And then maybe you guys use that top 10 draft pick and get Saquon Barkley
we need a back.
or Bryce Love from Stanford.
I was going to say, I'd rather have Bryce Love at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, because Saquon can catch. He would be awesome coming out that backfield.
More of a
with
Dalvin
Aaron.
Cook type.
Yeah, he'll
guy.
be awesome coming out that backfield with Aaron Rodgers. It'll be awesome.
Now, do you get Saquon Barkley the first 5 or 6 games of the
Or
year,
the
or
last
do you, the
three
last
games?
3? Like, which one do you get?
Hopefully, we get the first.
It's kind of the same way with Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette only rushed for 37
he
yards.
kinda
The
disappeared
Jaguars,
last week.
man, I tell you what, I watched a little bit of that game towards the end. Neither the Chargers or the Jaguars wanted to win that game. They both were
looked
trying to be like,
pretty bad.
no, you win. No, you win. I think Bortles had 2 interceptions at the end of the game. Leonard Fournette was a ghost. We just traded. So you made that bet, or we made that bet for that Georgia-South Carolina game with podcast BSR, the Basement
Yep.
Sports Report. And so we traded for Leonard Fournette. We gave him LeGarrette Blount, and we took Fournette from them. It was a Battle of the Podcast fantasy football bet,
Just bad.
and he did nothing for us.
Just bad.
We lose again.
That's just bad. What's
You know,
our record?
Clayton's over
Like-
there laughing
Like
at us.
3-8 or something
We
like that.
suck,
Yeah,
man.
we're awful.
We're horrible.
Now, our quarterbacks are pretty good, but they're inconsistent.
Hey, look,
Very
look
good.
at
No.
he's ready to jump on.
No,
it.
Kirk Cousins was doing good.
Cousins?
Cam Newton did good in his game,
Yep.
but hey, we mentioned the Detroit Pistons being the surprise team of the NBA. The Jaguars,
They're winning.
if
right.
Say what you want. They
if
won.
if the Titans beat this,
Oh my gosh, are you okay?
I don't know
He's
what happened.
dying over here.
Yeah, he can't
Somebody
believe- he
call
can't believe he said
911. We're having an emergency.
He can't believe he said
Help,
it. That's why
hold
he's
on,
like, if
hold
the
on.
Titans
Let
win,
me hit your back.
if the Titans
Oh wait, did it come out?
What did you say?
Oh, did
I
I,
don't know
get
what
it?
happened. Something just went in the back of my throat.
It was like he
I was
got.
gonna die.
It was
Yeah,
like
I
he
guess
got
so.
sniped. He was talking, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Boom!
The Titans
Like
beat-
a little, like I don't know if it was like a piece of my hamburger morsel. Like
Were you the one that you kept in your chipmunk
I don't
pouch?
know what happened. Man.
Holy shit.
But if the Titans beat the Steelers and the Jaguars win, they'll be tied, or I think they'll hold the second seed in the playoffs at that point.
That's crazy.
So could you imagine the Jaguars being that one of the bye week teams in the playoffs? That'd be insane.
That's
It would be, but it ain't happening.
But I
You
do
don't
think that,
say it can't happen.
No, I said it ain't happening. Meaning I don't think it'll happen.
right. But I mean, I think right now we can pretty much say the Jaguars are a playoff team.
They're
I
a
agree.
playoff team.
They're a playoff
Yeah.
team. Now
They'll
I can
either-
say for
they'll either
sure.
they'll either win the their division or they'll win the wild card.
Well, their division isn't that good.
Right.
That helps because
Well,
you
yeah,
got
the Titans are 6-3. They're 6-3.
the Titans are probably the best competition, but
They-
you
they're
got
the
the
only
Colts.
competition. The
Yeah, the
Colts are
Colts and the
3-7.
Texans are
Yeah,
awful.
The Colts are 3-7, and the Texans are 3-6. Yeah, they're out. They're done.
Man, it's disappointing not having Deshaun Watson playing.
It's
it really
horrible.
is.
You know what I mean? Like, I was looking forward to watching him play. Like, I'm not a Texans fan, but I would watch them just to see him because he was so electric.
There was a lot of Dalvin Cook.
There's a lot of injuries.
Oh, there has been a
Dude,
lot of injuries.
I think this is the worst year that I've ever seen injuries this bad in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad.
It's
Everybody.
also helped Kirk Cousins make it to
Oh
the top
my
five. Because
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers gets hurt,
We're not gonna-
Deshaun Watson
We're
gets
gonna
hurt.
dismiss him, but I heard like a stat like if you put everybody that got injured
On a team?
they're
Oh,
like,
they'd
they
be
win
a
the
Super Bowl champs.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just bad. It's just, I really feel bad for the state of Texas. You had hope in the Texans, and then all of a sudden, all right, we got to go back to Dallas, and now they're starting to stink up the place too. So
I feel bad for them because they have the Cowboys in their state, and
That's
the Cowboys are garbage.
that's true. I feel
I'm
bad
not
for the
biased at
Cowboys.
all.
None
see that.
whatsoever. The 49ers finally got a win.
Good for them, man.
49ers beat the Giants.
It's So the Giants are
bad.
garbage, the 49ers are garbage, and together the 49ers were just a little bit less of a trash heap than the Giants. So good for them.
So does that mean leave the Browns as the only winless team?
It does leave the
Browns
Browns as the only winless team, and
Will they finish on winless?
They started out strong against the Lions.
Dude, they started like you saw them and you're like, dude, they're gonna win a couple.
they've looked better, and they've had a couple games where they've had a lead early, but they never keep it. And they can't keep a lead. In the second half, it's like they give up. And they've had a couple injuries. They lost Jamie Collins, their best linebacker. They lose him to injury. And I actually heard you were talking earlier about the Terrell Pryor. He's coming from the Browns. I heard that there was a rumor that there was a trade floated out to the Redskins to get Terrell Pryor back to the Browns.
Wow.
Because this is his last year of his contract. Mm-hmm. I think it was just like a 1-year deal. So he'll be a free agent. And so they just wanted to try him out and see how he would do at the end of the year. And then we're thinking about maybe like trying to re-sign him because they're trying to recapture some of that magic that he had for the Browns, which that's like when the Magic traded to get Hideo Turkoglu back. It never works that way. You never get that magic.
It's like 7 ways to Kevin Bacon. Any way he can to get back to those damn Redskins, he'll talk about him.
But what about Josh Gordon? They got Josh Gordon now.
Yeah, can you count on him? Can you count on him? Did we talk about the Saints? Real quick.
They're really good.
The Saints are
really good.
unbelievable.
The NFC
They
is
beat the
really
Bills.
good, all in general. I mean, the Saints just destroyed the Bills.
Which was a very good Bills team.
The Panthers just destroyed the
They
Dolphins.
were a good Bills team.
They were until the last 2 weeks, and then they fell
Then they
apart.
kind of became the Bills.
Yeah, they became the Bills. And I don't know if you heard this. They've actually decided to bench Tyrod Taylor,
Yep,
and next
T-Mobile.
week,
What?
the rookie quarterback Peterman is going to be starting.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, not the guy from Office Space, Peterman.
Listen, if
Listen, Peterman.
If Tyrod Taylor wanted to play, he should have held the Saints to less than 200-something yards of rushing offense. That's all I'm saying. It's his fault.
Why?
Nobody knows.
And
Nobody
Tyrod
really knows.
Taylor did nothing in that game, though.
Yeah, but
And-
neither did anybody else on that Bills
Exactly,
team.
Dude, that
Well, LaShawn
they
McCoy
scored 3
hasn't done
points.
anything either. Well, when you're the quarterback, though, you take that heat. If you
I
cannot get that
guess.
offense moving,
You take the
now
heat,
the
but you don't
defense.
get benched.
The defense is the biggest problem because you've got 2 guys rushing over 100 yards and with like a total of 300 yards rushing. You can't do that and win. Drew Brees did not dismantle that Bills defense. It was 100% Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. Those guys ran their asses off.
And who would have thought that coming into the year when they signed AP, that they'd have to trade AP just to get the running game going?
Yeah,
And
that
AP had
sucks.
like 20 carries for 37 yards.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Like he can't even get anything going. He had that one big game at when he first got traded, but he cannot get anything going. AP, I hate to say it, man, he's done. I don't think he's got anything left in the tank.
And that's pretty bad coming from somebody who was so good as he was.
But running backs, they hit a cliff.
No, certain running backs hit a cliff.
I
Not
would
all
say
of
90% of running backs hit a cliff. There's that 10% that are able to continue their craft and do it well. Frank Gore. The guy is an ageless wonder. I don't know how he keeps doing it, but Frank Gore, he's not like rushing for 150 yards, but the dude's getting 60, 70 yards on 12 to 13 carries on a bad team. You know, I don't know how he does it. Frank Gore is amazing. I just don't think AP is that same guy. I think AP was a brutal runner, had some injury concerns.
Yeah.
Once that knee went
doesn't
out,
run
he
the
came
same.
back and he had his best season ever. And then, you know, he had the suspension year or whatever he had going on where he was out that year after the child abuse allegations. And so I think you can't just be out that many years. You have to keep playing to keep your skills set.
Running backs,
Yeah.
He definitely lost a step, and he's not that strong runner like he used to be. You know, like him just brutalizing linebackers. This doesn't happen. Like he used to bounce off of linebackers, and now it's just like the first tackle, he's going down. Even if he gets to the first tackle, because defensive linemen are getting to him now. So yeah, it's sad to see it happen. Sometimes you wish they would have just like, you know what, just retire. Don't leave the Vikings. Just retire. Don't go anywhere.
Think of how different that is, though. David Johnson, at the beginning of the year, we're like, this guy could run for 2,000 yards, and in Arizona, they're going to have the best running game. And now it's like, No David Johnson. Oh, let's bring in AP.
They're not going to make.
We
the
can't do
playoffs.
anything.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're not in the
No,
playoffs.
no, I mean,
no way.
No,
Yeah.
the NFC is really, really good right now. A lot of really good teams. The Rams, man. I gotta say it. I'm a believer now. The Rams are a legit team.
The
What-
Rams
did I
only
say-
have 2 losses, which is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Did-
But
did I-
it's not just that, but they're 7 wins. They're scoring over 30 points each game. They're dominating teams.
When we did the real or not, was the Rams one of the ones I said was real? I think I want
I
to
don't
say
know.
that I was. I
Yeah,
wanna say I
He's like, I
was.
want to say that I was right about
want to
this
say I
one.
was right, but
I'll have to take a listen.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think you did.
You know, I think
I'm pretty sure.
I
you
don't
did.
think anybody did. I think we all still doubted the Rams.
Yeah, I doubted the Rams.
Yeah, I said they're going to fall back just like the 49ers. But
So that-
they're balling. They're winning, and damn, they're the top team. In
The NFC playoffs is going to be
Ridiculous.
really,
Yeah.
really fun to watch.
It
I
is.
mean, you got new hot teams like the Rams, the Eagles, the Saints. Man, the Panthers were looking good. I'm still, obviously I'm not going to buy too much into them blowing out the Dolphins, but hey, a blowout's a blowout, man.
Yeah.
Well, your record shows how well
Yeah.
you guys are doing. I mean, you have a big game against the Bucks, who are terrible. A big game against the Dolphins, who are terrible. But you're winning, and
We're
winning
winning.
matters.
That's all that matters.
It is. In the NFL, winning matters. It
Well-
doesn't matter if you have these. You don't need the beauty pageant points. All
Right.
you care about
It
is
just
the
wins.
W. Yeah.
Well, they didn't. I want to say that Cam didn't play good against the Bucks. He won the game, but this game he played good. He actually, like I say, he got out the phone booth finally. Super Cam came out the phone booth and he actually showed up. If
He's getting better as the year goes
If he
on.
continues to play like that, yeah, he should be all right.
Yeah, man. I'd like to see more from their offense and their running game. I mean, Stewart looked like his own self on Monday night, but again, it's the Dolphins. The Dolphins are bad.
It should be Canadian
That's one of my I told you so's, man. And people can say, oh, if Ryan Tannehill would not make a bit of difference with that team.
No,
I think
He
a
might
lot-
play a little bit better than what
he never
Cutler's doing.
did. I mean, I don't understand what the hype was about Tannehill anyway. He was
Well, they made the
Tannehill.
playoffs last year.
Okay.
But they also had a really easy schedule.
Really
and
easy.
squeaked in.
Yeah, I think they only played like 2 playoff teams.
Yeah.
Or they only beat 2 playoff teams during their whole
And then they lost
schedule.
in the
win.
first round, did they not?
They got smoked by the
Exactly.
Steelers.
They
Yeah,
shouldn't have
nobody
been in there.
No.
They really shouldn't have been. They were lucky to be where they were at. And I mean, it was good for them because I know the fan base loved that opportunity.
They needed that playoff.
They needed it, but that's that. Any other games that we missed talking about? Anything interesting to discuss
yeah,
NFL wise?
The Bucks.
How bad are the Broncos?
Oh,
Wow, they turned into the Browns quickly. Like all of a sudden, you're like,
It's
oh, the
pretty
Denver
bad.
Broncos. The last good game that I can remember is that game when they held Ezekiel Elliott to like 8 yards, and you're like, wow, the Broncos defense is like one of the best ever. Their cornerbacks are unbelievable. So you're thinking if the running game of the opposing team can't get going, they can't throw against these guys. They've got Chris Harris and Aqib Talib. They can be a great defense and still carry that team. And then you realize Trevor Siemian is garbage. He can't do anything, even though he's a good old Central Florida boy, and we like that kind of thing around here.
The Brockweiser.
The Brockweiser, that didn't
Yeah.
work the first time.
It's not working this
It's
time.
not working the second time. Like, okay, we didn't really like you enough to pay you, so we let you go to the Texans.
Who didn't like you.
Who traded you to the Browns for
Who
basically nothing.
Also didn't like you.
Who didn't like you
and then they
cut you to get cut from the worst team that has
Yeah.
0 wins, that needs a
That
quarterback.
says a lot.
And then you go over to the Broncos, and guess what? You've turned them into the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
I
It's amazing.
am not rocking out with my Brock out.
I can't say I told you so, because I mean I did say I thought the Broncos would miss the playoffs. I just didn't think they would look this bad doing it.
yeah, they look pretty bad.
They're getting blown out. Like,
In Denver in primetime. Normally, playing Denver in primetime at Mile High Stadium is a tough thing to do. And the Patriots just made it look so easy.
Yeah, they went in there and just took their heart, threw it back up.
so we got a good week of games coming up.
Yeah.
Do we?
I mean,
Well, it's a bye week for the Panthers, so that's the NFL is already missing out big time when the Panthers take a week off.
yeah,
But
okay.
I guess they need rest too.
I hear
Cam
you.
needs some rest after running for 95 yards.
Sure.
putting himself fourth on the most rushing yards by a quarterback.
He looked good.
Cam has feelings too, you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
what big games we got? What we got?
Eagles Cowboys. I'm
Eagles,
looking forward to
Cowboys.
this game, and it may not be because it's going to be a great like matchup, but the fact that I can watch the Philadelphia Eagles dismantle the Ezekiel Elliott-less Dallas Cowboys, to me, is worth its weight in gold. That is going to be the best sight ever. I don't think the Cowboys have a chance in hell with competing with the Eagles. I don't think the Cowboys. I think their confidence is going to be shaken now that they don't have their star player. Dak is not that great of a quarterback. I think he had
Romo former. I said it, man. It's
you
true.
said it. I like
Called me
Romo
right.
better, man. I thought Romo was better. I think Dak,
Romo.
he caught lightning in a bottle last year. He's just not that guy. So that game I'm looking forward to. What do you see on the lineup here that you're looking forward to?
I see the Rams Vikings. I think that's
Nice.
Gonna be
Ooh, that's going to be a good game.
Nice.
Defense versus offense.
That's going to be a pretty.
Rams
decent
have a
game.
lot to prove in
Yeah.
this game. So do the Vikings.
Yeah.
Case Keenum, man, what a surprise. I know we talked about him earlier, but that guy plays with a chip on his shoulder, and now you got Teddy Bridgewater back, and they got a tough quarterback controversy that nobody thought they would have at this point in the season.
Well, if you did, you thought maybe Bradford would have taken that
Right.
team. You know, like you never.
No,
thought
I never
we
thought
never
Bradford
thought
would do that.
Bradford.
I cannot stand Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Yeah.
He's gotten paid way too much money for how little performance he has had in the NFL. I mean, I think he's made over $100 million doing
easily.
doing nothing.
Yeah.
I don't even. Has he even been to a playoff game?
No,
I
no.
don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think
I mean, what has he done? So this game's going to be good because the Vikings have a good offense. Adam Thielen is an underrated wide receiver. The guy's had more than 5 catches in every game this year. He's really helping carry that. And then Stephon Diggs is that light it up guy that'll take it down the field. So they have a good balance there. And their running game really hasn't taken a big step back when Dalvin Cook left because they have a big offensive line, and those guys are get in there and they make huge holes for their running game. So Latavius Murray looks good. Jerick McKinnon looks good. These aren't good running backs, but they look good in this system. They've got it set up to be a successful team. And the Rams, I mean, we were talking about it. They have an offense that is elite at this point.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I look back at that trade they made with the Bills, and I'm like, man, Sammy Watkins is going to be good. Sammy Watkins is not that good. You know who's really effing good? Robert Woods. This dude is lighting it up out there.
Yeah.
He is an underrated wide receiver that came over from the Bills. He was always one of those like journeyman type guys that he was always like that second or third
returner.
receiver, punt returner type guy. I mean, the guy's having a phenomenal year. Him and Jared Goff have this connection that is just, I mean, I think he's had 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Like, the guy's just lighting it up. And you're thinking Sammy Watkins and Robert Woods, their best wide receivers at this point were both from the Bills.
I hear.
Nice.
It's going to be a good game.
Maybe T-Mobile could have won that game if he would have had his wide receivers.
I know. They don't have any other wide receivers
No.
now. They traded for your guy,
Yeah.
Kelvin Benjamin. It's all about
And
the
Panthers look
Benjamins,
good
man.
without him.
Yeah.
All right, so Titans versus Steelers. We talked about the implications of that game and what it could mean for the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Titans, it means a lot for the Titans too because they're kind of that. What are they? 6-3,
Yep. They need a signature win.
but they're not like an impressive 6-3. I don't look at them as like, wow, they're one of the top teams in the AFC right now.
yeah, they need a signature win, and it could come Sunday.
Now the Steelers, they made a huge move by signing Joe Hayden in the offseason after the Browns cut him, and then poor guy, man, Gator legend broke his leg. Was it his leg or his arm?
I think it was his leg.
Okay.
I think it was his fibula or something. It was like
So-
just like a fracture.
Anyways, but
Man, I could be
he
wrong.
broke something, and that's a big blow to the Steelers' defense. I want to see Mariota, kind of take that next step. Been kind of waiting on Mariota to take that next step, and he just haven't seen it yet. It's like you feel like he's there, but then he like kind of regresses a little bit. And then the next week he'll light up the scoreboard or light up the yardage, and then he like takes a step back the next week. Do you think he'll do it against the Steelers now that they're down a cornerback?
Well, I look at it and I feel like the Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota draft, you thought those two guys were going to be superstars.
Right.
And both of them haven't taken that step. Like you said, you expect it to happen. You know they have the ability to do it. They just can't. They haven't been consistent enough. They're both injury prone, and they're just not doing it. The year later, you have Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, and you're like, man, this is a weak quarterback draft. These guys aren't that good. Who are you going to take? Carson Wentz is an undiscovered talent from North Dakota State that all of a sudden got hype at the end of the draft cycle. And then Jared Goff, you thought was good, and then he goes out and he didn't even start for the Rams. Like, they were starting Case Keenum, which we look back, and that was probably because Case Keenum's actually really good, and Jeff Fisher was a terrible coach to be able to make any of it happen. So you're looking in the Mariota and Winston deal, both of those guys should be great quarterbacks, and I just don't see it. Now, at the beginning of the year, I thought the Titans were going to have a good year this year. I thought they were going to be one of these wild card teams that get into the playoffs, and we all did. And their record shows it. So they're right where we thought they would be, but they haven't been impressive.
Right.
Mariota hasn't done anything to say, like, I'm the guy, I'm the superstar. He's right now, like, top 20 quarterback in the NFL. I mean, I think
like we said, like some weeks he's top 10, and then other weeks he's bottom 25.
Right.
Taking a back step, yeah.
So you don't need that out of your quarterback. You need a guy that's going to be in there top 15 every week if you want to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
Or make a run in the playoffs too.
Exactly.
Yeah. And now he could finish the season strong. I'm not saying he can't, but
We'll know if he needs to show up against Pittsburgh. I mean, he needs to show up to win this game anyway.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't, then we'll know. He doesn't.
But
have it
Pittsburgh's
in him.
been struggling too a little bit. I
the
have
defense looks
I
good,
have
though.
Antonio Brown on my one of my fantasy teams. I don't know what's going on with him, man. He's
They're
just not.
you know the
Not
problem
clicking.
is his competition. The other wide receiver out there,
Juju Smith.
Yeah.
Juju Schuster-Smith. That guy is fun.
Yeah.
Did you see the celebration dance that they did?
No, I missed it.
They
leapfrog?
imitated. No, the leapfrog one was
Was the
funny as
Vikings.
hell. That was
Yeah,
the
that was
Vikings.
the
That one
Vikings.
was good. No, Le'Veon Bell and Juju Schuster-Smith, they did a reenactment of the AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey
yeah, that's
takedown.
right.
So they did the rear naked chokehold,
that was
and they
funny.
took him down.
Yeah.
It was so hilarious. Juju Schuster-Smith is becoming my favorite player
Yeah.
in the NFL. Like, the
Yeah.
guy's just like a likable guy. And I think Antonio Brown's like that spotlight is getting kind of taken off of him a little bit, and that might be throwing him off his game.
Well, that and the double coverage. You
That
know what I'm
and,
saying?
and
So-
Juju's bike.
Yeah.
So if you double coverage and which is what wide receivers, that's what they want. They want you to draw the double coverage, which he has been getting, and nobody's expecting Juju to catch as many balls as he has, and it makes it a fun game to watch. But their offense has still been lacking. Their defense has been keeping them in games. Period. I mean, Roethlisberger.
It's the running game. Where's that at?
It's,
Dude.
it's something. It's
Bell
something.
should be a top running back. Where's he at? He hasn't done anything.
Something's wrong with that offense. You called it. Something's wrong with that offense. We'll see Sunday.
Now, their record's pretty good still.
No, I mean both of these
It's the
teams. Again,
Steelers,
they
they win.
have. I think they both have 6 wins, 3
the
losses.
Steelers win.
And the Steelers, they had the one really, really bad loss where Roethlisberger wanted to retire afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, they've been winning.
He's back to being average Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, we'll see. They have too many offensive weapons on that not to be scoring 40 points a game.
And not to get too far off topic here, but Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, and Phillip Rivers. Those guys, I always hear that they're all Hall of Famers. I don't know if any of them are Hall of Famers. Now, I think that a couple of them will get in, but do you think Eli...
It's hard to keep 2 guys with
that won
2
2
Super
Super
Bowls
Bowls,
out of
man.
the Hall of Fame.
That's true. So they'll both get in, but I don't know that they're necessarily Hall of Fame talent. I think, like, for Eli Manning, he's based off of, like, being the Patriot killer. Like, those 2 Super Bowls,
Yeah.
he's had probably more shit show seasons than he's probably had 5 or 6 seasons where he's been a bottom 20 quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
And he's had 20 plus interceptions, just not doing anything. But he's had 2 seasons where he's won Super Bowls against great Patriot teams.
Patriots
off
team.
of really like great situations where you have lucky plays. even though they're good, the good players making plays, but still kind of you got things going your way, and that's going to get him into the Hall of Fame.
Well, they say a broken clock's right twice a day, so twice in his career, this broken clock
That's
was
right. That's what he is. And same thing with Roethlisberger. I thought those were defensive teams, and over the life of his career, if you look at it in a vacuum without looking at championships, I don't know if his stats would say, I'm a Hall of Famer.
I think he had better stats on the times that he didn't actually win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, probably. What about Rivers? Do you think he has a chance? Hall of Fame?
You know what? Out of all three of those guys, I think Rivers was probably the best quarterback of them. I honestly believe.
I mean, stat-wise, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the best quarterback
without
of them.
the championships.
He doesn't
Without
have the
really any of the
championship, doesn't have
playoff
the
wins
rings,
either.
Nothing.
I know he's got nothing.
Yeah,
So-
he's just sucking win.
All right, so one last game I want to talk about, and then we should probably wrap it up, is the Falcons and the Seahawks. They're two teams that are kind of in that same place where they're not as good as they have been in the years past, but they're still kind of hanging around. Right now, they're sort of trying to be wild card teams because right now they're not winning their division. There's two teams in their divisions that's kind of running away with it. Rams are running away with it, and the Saints are running away with it. I think this is a make or break turning point for these teams in this game, where one can be probably eliminated from the wild card discussion if they lose. It'd be hard to bounce back from.
In my
Am
opinion,
I too early to say
No,
that?
you're not. You're right on point. In my opinion, it's the Seahawks go with the win. I think the Seahawks are a better team than the Falcons, in my opinion. And I'm going to stick with that.
Defensively, yes. I mean,
They did
I
lose
guess-
Sherman to injury, though.
They did.
I guess offense, you got to go with Seahawks too. But I mean, I don't know. This Falcons team, I just keep wondering, like, when will they show back up? The first 3 games of the season, it was like, shit, they look good, and then they just kind of disappeared. I kind of want to say that team's going to show back up soon. Is it this
You're
week?
the Falcons?
Yeah,
They showed up last week against the Cowboys, but that's because it was the Cowboys. Yeah.
Taking down the Seahawks would give them their confidence back. I think they take down the Seahawks this weekend in Seattle.
All right, are we ready for some MVPs?
I'm ready for
Wait, who you picking?
Well, we're actually picking a game. We haven't picked any other games, but I'll
No.
pick the Falcons. I think with Sherman going out and a lot of things, I think the Seahawks are a wounded bird right now. And the Falcons are kind of on the winning side of it now. They've kind of bounced back since they lost in Foggate up in New England.
Yeah.
So I'll go Falcons.
We got one more game, and we're not going to go on a tangent. The Saints and the Redskins.
All right,
Who you got?
I'm not
Just
saying
say who
anything.
you got. No, just say who you got.
Redskins.
Where's this game at?
It's in the Saints.
Ooh. At the Dome, I'm going to go.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm going to go for the Redskins for my boy and for my Panthers. I need the Saints to lose again so we can tie them up for the division.
I'm a fan of Kirk Cousins now, but that Dome's tough to play in, bruh.
No, I'm with you. I mean, we don't have a winning record right now. I
mean,
can't
it's,
say anything.
It's kind of the same way with the Falcons and the Seahawks. This is a wild card elimination game for the Redskins.
It is.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the NFC is still winning, and you can't be losing this late in the season when you got, like I said, the Panthers are a wild card team right now. They're 7-3. You got a whole bunch of other teams out there. I'd have to look at the standings, but
The second half of the season.
you're gonna have to have I think 11 wins in the NFC, maybe 10 wins.
If we go 10 wins, we're gonna have to go 6-1 to finish out the year.
Right.
So that tells you that
It's tough.
story. That's not easy. Though, like I said, we got Cowboys, 2 Giant games. Anyway, I won't get into that.
Here we go.
MVPs. Now are we ready?
Yeah,
Can we
let's
do
go,
this?
let's go, let's
All
go.
right. Awesome. That's
Who's
great.
gonna go first?
I'll go first. My
Yeah.
my MVP is gonna be Michigan legend and Carolina Panther legend Devin Funchess. He promised a mother. Her name's Tina Palmer. Her son, Sergeant Dylan Baldridge. He fell. He was a fallen hero. I don't know where he died, but I just saw the tweet where it said Devin Funchess promised him his mom to score a touchdown in this last game against Miami Dolphins, and then he went and scored 2
Nice.
touchdowns. So kudos to you, Mr. Devin Funchess. Way to step up, especially after Kelvin Benjamin left the team or was traded. He stepped up in a big way against Monday, and I like seeing guys do those kinds of things in the NFL. So you're my MVP, bro.
I hear you.
All right, we'll let you go last because you always have that wild card MVP. I've got co-MVPs today.
Go ahead.
My co-MVPs, number 1, Adrian Claiborne of the Atlanta Falcons. 6 sacks on Dak Prescott. Cowboy killer extraordinaire. Got to give that guy an MVP. My second one, I don't know if you guys heard this or not. I love where this is going. Boxing legend Oscar De La Hoya said he's secretly been training.
Oh, Golden Boy's
For
coming
what?
back.
And he wants to come back.
Dancing with the
No.
Stars.
And
Dancing with the
he
Stars.
called
No.
out
No.
Conor McGregor.
Oh, shit.
No.
That's
God,
true.
no.
Yes.
Hey,
It's a true
motherfucker.
story. Google that shit. It's
No,
true.
no.
He's coming back and he's already called out Conor McGregor.
No.
Yes, he has. That's my MVP, Oscar De La Hoya calling him out.
Oh my God, no, that's just so bad.
I'll watch that shit.
No, of course you would. You're
Hey,
like-
watch party at my place, fellas.
Oh God, no, that's bad.
MVP.
Man, we should have talked about that earlier. All right, I got
MVP.
my MVP. No, God dang it, dude, you got me tonight.
MVP.
God damn it, you got me tonight. My MVP is gonna be
MVP.
Peter Vexey, a sports writer in New York, when talking about the scuffle between the Cavaliers and the Knicks, quoted Biggie Smalls, basically saying, imagine him being scared of a N-word who breathes the same air as him. If you don't know, Peter Vexey's a white guy, and he quoted the N-word. And I'm not so...
Which word is that? Neighbor?
Nigga.
Nice. Oh.
Nigga.
No, he did he say the ER or did he say the A?
The A.
Oh, okay.
Nigga. It's the Biggie song.
Right.
And it's a... And
But it's the same word. You're just...
It is.
You know,
Yeah,
it's got
yeah,
the
yeah.
same meaning.
But it's a hard song, and this is my whole thing. You know what, dude? He quoted Biggie, and I'm just surprised that a guy named Peter Vexey would even know who Biggie was. So I'm
Seriously, stick to your own music like Insane Clown
not.
Posse.
I'm not gonna say that, dude.
Insane Clown Posse for life.
I'm just saying it was
Juggalo.
It was weird. It was out of place. But I can't be mad at him for quoting Biggie. Like, dude, I'm kind of impressed that he even knows who Biggie is. Everybody that's on this guy telling him to be quiet, I'm going to be, hey, honest, look, dude, we want people to know, our culture and everything. Now, obviously, if he listened to that lyric of the song, hopefully he listened to the whole song and got the gist of it. If not, he can come talk to me on Matt Scout team, and we can go over it piece by piece. But I'm going to say this. I think he actually did all right. And I'm not mad at him at all. Here we go.
All right. I like it.
All right, that's our show, man. Let's
That's
wrap
our
it
show.
up.
Let's
Tune
wrap
in
it
next
up.
week where we'll discuss which one of Kyle or Anthony's beard looks like a Brillo pad.
Cows.
See ya.
Anthony's.
Cows.